Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lunch with Lisa. Hopefully, we're live on Facebook. It always takes a little while for Facebook to catch up here. But welcome. My name is Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. I hope that Facebook just is crazy today, as usual. Sorry about that. Anybody watching today, if you are watching and joining me, please put some comments in. Let me know that you're here. I am the author, I'm Lisa Warner. I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. Today I wanted to talk about the shift of consciousness is here. And we can either rise with the tide or we can get swept under by the fear. As consciousness is expanding, we are moving as humanity into a brand new paradigm, into higher dimensional states of consciousness. And as this is happening, the old paradigms are falling away. The old third dimensional paradigms of polarity and duality are leaving. These paradigms of good, bad, right, wrong, power over, suppression, distortion, fear, all of these are old programs that are no longer needed. They're no longer necessary. They do not exist in higher states of consciousness. So right now, consciousness is expanding. And what we are seeing is the effects of that expansion on our external reality. So what does that look like? It looks like the fear that is leaving is coming to the surface. It is coming to the surface so that it can be released, so that we can let it go. But in the meantime, it looks like viruses attacking humanity. It looks like governmental infringement on people's rights. It looks like, all kinds of things. And all of these things are here so that we can see what has actually been going on, so that we can shed light on the distortions of power that have been playing out in the background of humanity for a very long time. Since the fall of Atlantis, we have been in a distorted layer of consciousness. At the fall of Atlantis, it was as if the layer of consciousness in which we exist collapsed. I often refer to it as like a fallen souffle. Instead of being uniform and light and airy, it is a souffle that has collapsed into density, into inconsistency. That collapsed layer of consciousness gives us disease in the external reality. It gives us all kinds of distortion. And we, as humans, have choice. We can choose which layer of consciousness to exist in. We can live in that fallen souffle layer of the third dimension of distortion and dis-ease and disempowerment and all of the negative things that exist in that distorted layer of consciousness. Or we can place our attention in these higher realms of consciousness, in the freedom, the ease, the joy, the unity. And this is what is happening on the planet right now. We are moving from one layer of consciousness to another layer. And as this happens, the effect is showing up in the external reality. So we are all at this time being called to choose. We are being called by our own souls to choose. And as humans, we have that freedom of choice. We can choose to look at the fear and the anger and the outrage, and we can get sucked up into that fear and anger and outrage. And we can feel guilty and ashamed and powerless, and we can point fingers at each other. Or we can start to live in the higher dimensional states of consciousness. We can see beyond the physical appearances of things. We can look past what is happening in the physical realm and see what is generating the things in the physical realm. Because when we look past the surface appearances, we can see the shadows that have been hiding in the background. We can see all of the distortions in our own reality and in the collective reality. We can start to see in our own reality where we have been hanging on to shames and blames and guilts and fears and doubts and worries. And those things are what have been showing up and shaping our physical lives. As a collective, there has been darkness hiding in the shadows in the background. We have not been looking beyond the surface to see what's actually going on. But now, all of the things that have been hiding in the shadows are starting to be revealed. We're starting to see that the reality that we thought we were living in isn't necessarily what we thought it was. So, right now, there is a lot of chaos and confusion as all of the light is infusing our planet, as we are starting to shine light on the shadows that have been operating and controlling us in the background. The shadows that have been controlling us are now being revealed. And over the course of the next weeks and months, it's going to get probably more intense as the shadow is trying harder and harder to fight for survival. We're going to see more fear. We're going to see more censorship. We're going to see more um, uh, lockdowns. We're going to see more of these things that induce fear. But when we can start to see beyond these things, beyond the surface appearances, we can start to see what is generating those things. And we can start to see that it is the fear-based programming, the corrupt programming of the third dimensional consciousness that is generating all of the surface appearances. And as we start to see what's actually happening, we can start to, in our own individual realities, we can start to focus on the freedom at hand. We can start to focus on the peace, the ease, the well-being that has always been available to us. Each and every one of us is generating our own reality within the collective reality. And in order to change the collective, we have to first change our own reality, because it is each and every one of us that add to the collective reality. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining. Good to see you here. And oh, everybody, up your vibe. Woohoo! Everybody, we're all up in our vibes today. So we all have the choice to up our vibe every single day. We have the choice to choose freedom over fear, love over fear. It is our fears that generate the undesirable circumstances of our lives, including the disease in our bodies, what appears to be dis-ease in our bodies. Our bodies are always functioning on our behalf. Our bodies are designed for well-being. It is the system that wants us to believe that there's something wrong with our bodies. Hey, Lori Conkle Peterson, nice to see you. Choosing love over fear. Awesome. So our bodies are designed for well-being. And when we can start letting go of all of our fears about what happens to our bodies when our bodies are showing a symptom, when we start to re-look at the way, when we take a new look at the way our bodies function, when we take a new look at healing and what healing actually is. Healing is a process of restoration of the body. And as you know, with any building restoration, there's a period of time where you have to deconstruct the old building in order to reconstruct and make a brand new building. So when we start to look at our bodies from a different perspective, from a higher consciousness perspective, we start to see through the programming of disease. And we can start to see the well-being that is always available 24/7. Our bodies are doing exactly what they're designed to do. We simply have to be able to step into a new awareness of our bodies. We have to step into a new awareness of who we are as beings, because we are all powerful beyond belief, beyond what the systems have taught us. It is time to break free from these systems, these old systems of enslavement, of disease creation, all of these old government systems, the monetary systems, the healthcare system. They are all designed to keep us in fear. So all of these systems are now being systematically disassembled. We are starting to see what has been behind these systems, the shadows that have been operating these systems, that have been telling us that we need to trust these systems rather than trusting our own intuition and our own bodies. So as the shift of consciousness is in progression, we are in the midst of the shift of consciousness right now. This is what it looks like. Don't get confused by the chaos. Don't get sucked under the undertow of the chaos and the confusion and the fear and the doubt. Place your attention inside to the well-being and the freedom that is always available to each and every one of us as we each break free from the herd mentality. We save the herd. The herd by nature is corralled by the cowboys. The herd simply goes where the cowboys want them to go. And when the cowboys want the herd to go to slaughter, the whole herd goes together. We are not a herd. We are individuals, divine, sovereign, individual souls. We are not meant to be part of a herd. We are meant to be heard. We are meant to be able to speak our own truth and our own freedoms. We are meant to stand in our own well-being. This is what is happening now. We are each being called to higher states of consciousness. And as we move into our inner truth, into alignment with our soul truth, our higher states of consciousness, we start to break free from the herd, and we start to realize that we are not trapped. We are not the slaves of the system. We are not being attacked by the system. We are not being attacked by anything. We are only being attacked by our own fears. So as you start to remember who you are and remember the well-being that you are by nature, you start to heal your reality. You start to bring all of your reality back into resonance with who you truly are. And as you bring yourself back into resonance with your soul signature, your body brings itself back into balance. It is a simple process. Healing is not difficult. It's not easy sometimes. It's extremely simple. It's not complicated, and it doesn't have to be difficult. So if you are struggling with your body right now, if you are struggling with your reality, simply know that as you shift into a higher state of consciousness, into the consciousness of your soul, everything changes. We are in the midst of the greatest shift of consciousness humanity has ever experienced. We are moving from fear to freedom. Right now, it looks a little chaotic, but don't let that confuse you. We are moving into the higher states of consciousness. The earth has already raised her vibration. We are already living in that bandwidth of higher dimensional frequency. So it's the third dimensional stuff, the lower level consciousness, those lower frequencies of fear, doubt, shame, blame, anger, power over, that are going away. So it's time to let them go. Stop engaging with them and start looking inside at the truth of who you are. Because who you are is a well-being naturally. So it's time to bring ourselves back into well-being, freedom, ease, joy, unity. We are moving into the new earth. We're letting go of the corrupt database of the old earth. Let it fall away. Let it go. Don't get seduced by the corrupt database. Place your attention on the new earth, on the higher states of consciousness, on the well-being that is yours by nature. And you will rise with the tide into the new earth, into the freedom, the unity, the peace, the joy, the well-being, the health, the happiness. I hope this was helpful. So again, my name is Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. I am the owner of the Facebook group Soul Sourced Healing. If you're watching this and you're not part of the Facebook group, please come join us. I have a YouTube channel, and you are welcome to contact me via my website, connectingyoutoyou.com. If you need assistance with your health, with your reality, bringing everything back into a state of well-being, please reach out. I have traveled this path. I have already healed my body. I've already seen through the illusions of disease, and I will show you how to step through the illusions back into your state of well-being as well. So thanks for joining me, everyone. Until next week, create for yourselves a great week. Bye for now.